My name's Sam, and this is my channel. Do 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 do. Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sam, and today you'll be joining me for a little craft project of mine. Inspired by Percy Jackson and the Olympians, I'll be making a little wall art from things that I've upcycled from the beach. So let's get right into it. We're going to start out by taking a fist-sized piece of clay and rolling it out until it's 2 centimeters thick and circular in shape. Once we have our desired size and shape, we're going to take something circular so we can cut out around it. Take a sharp kitchen knife and trace the template you're using to remove all the excess clay. Pop off the item you're using as a template, and you have a neat circle of clay. Then we're going to take a smaller circular object and place it in the middle of that dome to cut out. Once we have a ring of clay, we're going to move that to the side and work on our inner piece. You'll need another smaller sized piece of clay, and we're going to roll that out to the same thickness and size as our last piece. From here, we'll be cutting out a trident shape from our clay. I'm freehanding this, however, you can trace onto the clay beforehand so you know exactly where you're cutting. Don't worry if your edges aren't that sharp. We want to make this look a little rustic, so having pieces frayed out is okay. Then once you have your trident shape, we're going to lay the ring on a piece of foil, and then we're going to lay our trident on top of the ring. Make sure you have this placed evenly, because however you place it, it'll bake that way. Then we're going to take a pen, and using the flat side, we're going to add a little bit of detail to this. Punch holes in the circular area until you get a nice textured. It'll look something like this. Do as much or as little as you want. Once you have a nice textured base, we're going to take some extra pieces of clay and we're going to make barnacles with them. Roll them into small circular shapes. And then we're going to take our pen and we're going to push it into the ball of clay and twist the end into a trumpet-like shape. This will create a dip very similar to barnacle pieces. And then we're just going to squish that into the crevices of our trident. Here's a little close-up just so you can see what that looks like. And we're just going to place these in small clusters. Look how cute that is. We're also going to add some seaweed by squishing the clay paper thin and scrunching it up. Attach the seaweed to random places all over your circle. And this is what it'll look like before it's baked. We'll pop that in the oven at 275 for about 25 minutes. And this is what it'll look like when it's done. And now we'll get to painting. I have 3 colors here to replicate the sea: an aqua blue for the water, a dark blue for the deep, and a green for the seaweed and algae. And you'll need a pair of paintbrushes. We're going to start by taking the aqua blue and spreading it all over the circular part of our clay piece. Once the outside is done, you'll want to dilute the paint with some water and then go in on the trident for a splashed water effect. Then we're going to do the same thing with the dark blue. And then we'll come in with the green to paint the kelp, and sponge some on with our fingers to give it a mossy effect. Keep adding layers of color to the trident until you get the desired look that you want. Once you have all the colors on there, we're going to put it to the side to dry. Now to get started on our knotted cord. We're going to take some driftwood and 4 pieces of old rope, tying one piece to the very end. Then we're going to tie our second piece about 1/4 of the way in, a third piece, and then a 4th piece all the way at the end, until you have 4 equal lengths of rope. Then you're going to want to get your clay trident piece and take a 5th piece of rope and loop it right through the top like this. Once that's done, you're going to loop it over your driftwood and tie a knot at the top. Then you'll have something like this. Next, we're going to take our inner pieces of rope and loop them through the bottom holes of the trident piece. That should look like this. Then we're going to take the outer rope and loop it to the inner rope and tie it in a knot. Do that on both sides and that'll look like this. Then moving to the side, we're going to tie the inner rope and the outer rope together to make a small loop. Do that on the other side and you'll have this. Take the 2 middle ropes and loop them through the bottom holes of the trident. Once they're looped through, we're going to tie a knot at the bottom. Then you should have something like this. Once that's done, we're going to take the inner and outer pieces and tie them together again. Mirror that on the other side, tying a knot to make a loop. And then you should have this piece. Tie a knot to the middle pieces right at the bottom, and cut off any extra string that you have. And for our final step, we'll be gluing on some seashells all over the rope. I'm just going to take a seashell that I've collected from the beach, add a dab of hot glue, and press down onto the cord. I'll continue gluing seashells until I think it's an adequate number for me. And when you've glued everything down, our final product should look something like this. Well, that's all I've got for you today. If you'd like this video, please like and subscribe. Otherwise, you can check out my other social medias down below, and I'll see you next week for more shenanigans.